Hi guys, JH6, welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate you guys watching. Now, today we're going to talk about training, guys, and I got a lot of things to say about training, specifically when it comes down to military guys doing training, and when it comes down to civilians, you know, basic civilians that come from some type of law enforcement, or just guys that have been shooting guns for a really long time, and now they happen to be instructors. So I got a couple of things to tell you guys, you know, to talk to you guys about. Also, a couple of things when it comes down to some type of U2 training, what I like to call U2 training, and some of the techniques that I used when I was in the military. And at one point, my job was to train my Marines. So I got a little bit of experience when it comes to that, you know, tracking training, conducting training, teaching classes, and things like that. So I'm going to talk about some of those things. I'm going to give you some of my ideas. But first of all, guys, just a quick announcement. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you're going to be seeing these videos coming out here on the JH6 radio show. So you could expect those videos to come out at that time every Sunday. If you like this type of videos, make sure you click like. That kind of tells me that you like that topic, and typically, I mean, generally that supports the channel. So I really appreciate that. You know, if you want to subscribe to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel. I've been putting videos pretty much every day, guys. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep that, but you know, 7 p.m. Eastern Time is usually when I post the videos, because everyone is kind of home. You know, so people are watching videos more around that time. All right, guys, so let's jump into this training situation. And I got to tell you guys, first thing, training is critical. You do training and you're going to build muscle memory. And muscle memory is what you want to have in some type of situation. You want to be able to do things without even thinking about it. So, for example, you find yourself in some type of confrontation and you have to draw your pistol. You want to be able to do that without even thinking about it. Like, your body will move into that position very smooth and very quickly because you've done it so many times. Now, one of the things that I got to tell you guys, first of all, one of the things that I'm looking is the cool factor. Many people are getting into this type of cool factor, and many people are picking schools to train with just because they're cool. You know, I better go and train with this guy because this guy is cool. This guy was in the military. This guy has this cool pictures all over. You know, maybe he has a YouTube channel where maybe it's controversial, or maybe he likes to talk and you like his personality and you think he's the coolest guy ever. I got to tell you guys, I'm not really down with the cool factor. I want to know my instructor. I want to know what is his background. I want to know how long he been doing this, because technically I'm going to learn from that guy. So I want to know some details that it's going to tell me if I should learn from this guy or not. Now, here we go, guys. Just because you're in the military does not make you an expert, does not make you a guy that knows everything, and you should be automatically a firearm instructor when you come out. Now, I'm not attacking the military because, you know, I'm a retired Marine, so definitely not. And you know, I love our troops, but a lot of times we see that a lot of you guys are under the impression that if the instructor is not a military guy, he must not be a good instructor. So you need to learn from somebody that is in the military, and that is not the case, guys. There's a lot of civilian instructors that come from a military background, from a law enforcement background, that knows a lot about guns and knows a lot about tactics, and they are more than qualified to teach some type of class. Again, you don't even have to come from a law enforcement background. There's a lot of guys that just plain simple been shooting guns for so long and have taken so many classes and so many courses that they're actually good instructors and you could actually learn from them. You know what, guys? I used to tell my Marines a while ago that in order to do a good job, all you have to do is care. If you care a little bit about doing a good job, you're just going to do a good job. And you know, you're going to see instructors out there that they are really good instructors because they care. So definitely, I got to tell you guys, definitely look into something. When you're looking into an instructor, just make sure that when you ask these questions, don't just base your opinion on the fact that that guy comes from the military. Base your opinion on many different factors. You know, just because that guy, and this is what I'm trying to say, just because that guy is not in the military doesn't mean he's not a good instructor. He could be a really excellent instructor and you may be missing out. And I got to tell you guys, I definitely, you know, if I go out and train and I could train with a Navy SEAL that now is teaching classes, definitely, that's just amazing. You know, if I could train with a Rangers, you know, prior Ranger or something like that from the Army, Marine Corps sniper, things like that, that is just excellent. Those guys know a lot of things. So I'm definitely going to be excited and definitely going to be learning. But again, guys, the point comes down where a lot of guys kind of pull away the instructors, civilians instructors, and they think that they're not good enough to teach you. There's a lot of civilian instructors out there that are, you know, just giving really good classes. So keep that in mind, guys. And again, like I say, stay away from the cool factor. Learn the instructor, asking for the background. Check the websites. They may have some really good website where they provide a lot of good information. So check that. Be informed and be ready to learn when you get there. Now I got to tell you guys, one of the things that I did, and this is just me, and if you've been watching my videos, you know this. The more you learn, the more tools you're gonna have in your toolbox. I talked about this in the past. You want to learn as much as you can because you never know when you're gonna utilize that information. I gotta tell you, just a side note, quick story. When I was at one point, I got assigned to be the training NCO, which is, you know, kind of like the guy who keeps track of training and keep track of Marines training and things that they do and their requirements that they got to meet and things like that. And for me that was not a good job. I hated it. I didn't want to do it. But I did learn many different skills that when I picked up Staff Sergeant, if you're not aware, in the Marine Corps, when you pick up Staff Sergeant, and a lot of Marines would tell you this, you become like an office guy. All you do is sit in a computer, answer emails, keep track of people, and it's kind of like in the whole supervisor role where you're just keeping track of personnel. And you know, definitely you are responsible for the training as well. But in a lot of times you just have the sergeants you know, teach them and train them. So you kind of give the instructions on what you want your Marines to learn, and those sergeants get the job accomplished. And that's something that I didn't like because I really enjoy teaching Marines. But anyways, when I picked up Staff Sergeant, I used a lot of the skills that I learned as a training NCO into my new job. And again, that was something that I didn't want to do, but it happened, and I was glad that it happened because it kind of built me up to that next promotion. So with that being said, guys, that's what I'm trying to go with this. The more you learn, the more tools you're going to have in your toolbox, and you never know when you're going to use them. It may be a few months from now and you may use that technique that someone told you. So that's why a lot of times when I see different techniques, some people criticize the techniques. To me, in my case, in my opinion, I think you should learn as many techniques as you can and then utilize it in whatever application you think is necessary. All right, guys, so before I go into something that I did, and not just me, pretty much the Marine Corps does this a lot, let me tell you something about pretty much U2 training versus real training. Now, I talked about this in the past, guys. I talked about YouTube training. And don't get me wrong, there's such an amazing channels here. This community is just amazing. So many good guys, so much information. You could legitimately learn so much from so many different people. It's just unbelievable. But with that being said, you gotta you gotta be careful who you're learning from. You got to check out that channel. You got to make sure that channel is legit. You got to make sure, like I just said, you know, that guy comes from a background that you know, kind of justify what he's doing. Like you know what I'm saying? If you come out from a background of law enforcement, you know, like I said, military, or you've been shooting for years, that's the kind of thing that you want to know, so you can start learning from that guy. But it's not going to take away from the formal training. And I was just talking to my buddy Mac, and you know, he's starting up a new channel, and he's going to be starting up an academy, and I'm going to put the link to his channel below, so go ahead and check him out. But I was talking to him about this, and he was, you know, kind of agreeing with me on it. It's not going to replace the basic formal training. You want to have formal training, and I know it could be expensive, but you want to have formal training because you want to have that instructor. You're gonna have an instructor telling you what to do, how to do it better. You know, some of the things that you may not see, he's going to detect that, and he's going to tell you, hey, look, you should do this way. You should try this technique. That information right there is critical, guys. You want to have an instructor. And again, guys, I understand it could be really expensive at times, definitely. So it just comes down to priority, you know, priorities. What do you want to do? And it goes back to buying guns, buying gear, prepping. What do you want to do? What is your priority? If your priority is to get a good gun, you need to save. And maybe you cannot go out and eat because you're saving for that gun. So you got to set up priority, guys. I know training is expensive, but maybe you have to save for 6, 7, 8 months to be able to take that class, because that is your priority. So keep that in mind, guys. Again, don't disregard YouTube. There's a lot of good YouTube channels. Excuse me. There's a lot of good, amazing YouTube channels here that will teach you a lot of information. So take advantage of that as well. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I spoke about this in the past as well, guys. And pretty much when you do training, think about training in 3 different stages. You got your crawl stage. This is when you low crawling, when you're just in your elbows and knees and you learning. Then you got your walk. This is when you're walking, you know. And then you got your run. When you're running, you're doing a great job. You already know what you're doing. So let's talk about simply just you know, shooting. Or let's pick this one better. Reloading. Now, during the crawl phase, you're going to be learning the fundamentals, how to do it. And this phase, you won't be actually touching a gun. You may be sitting in front of a computer, just like I'm doing right now, and learning different techniques on how to reload. If you're taking some type of class, you may be sitting in a classroom just watching an instructor or watching a PowerPoint presentation on different techniques on how to reload. You know, what is a reload? How to do a reload? Emergency reload, condition 1 reload, tactical reload. There's so many reloads nowadays, it's just ridiculous. But the main point to this phase is going to be reloading. How do you do a reload? Then you walk and you go into your walk phase. Now, during this phase, guys, you actually have your gun and you're actually doing a reload. Now, you're not using live ammo. You're not using anything that could create an issue, because remember, guys, you're learning. So you want to be able to have a bunch of safety measures already in place to make sure that while you train, you're training safe. So you're gonna be doing this this reload nice and slow, no rush, with no rounds, nice and slow. Finally, when you get that, then you may be able to hit the range. Now you're in the running stage and you're actually shooting the gun and conducting a reload with live ammunition, and just straight up like it will be some type of combat event or some type of confrontation where you have to engage a target. Now you're actually doing it. But what we see here, guys, is that we're going in steps. Step 1, we're learning how to reload. Step 2, we actually reloading. And step 3, we actually doing it with live ammo in a range, or wherever you're shooting at. So there's a process. You cannot go straight up to run without touching or without learning how to crawl and how to walk. You have to go through that process, and it's just, I gotta tell you guys, it is this type of training is as simple as you can make it. Now, in the military, we did something more complicated, of course. When it came to dismounted operation, mounted operation, or just simply when I worked as a police officer, how to respond to a domestic, how to do a traffic stop. There's certain steps that you have to take before you actually doing it. So that is the point with that, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. Just remember, when it comes down to training, make sure you do your research on your instructor, the academy, where you're going, and be informed. You may want to contact those guys and let them know before you even show up there. What do I need to bring? What I got, what kind of firearm, what are we going to be doing? If you're going to be doing a combat fighting pistol, may not be a good idea to bring a revolver. So, what kind of holster do I need? Things like that you want to be able to identify before you go and take the training, and you want to be able to know who is your instructor. You want to learn from him. You're going to learn from him. You're going to spend a few days with that guy. So you want to know about him. You want to know about the academy. Maybe do some type of Google Academy to make sure the students are talking, speaking well about that place. You want to know those things. You just don't want to show up to a place and do training. Later comes to find out that your instructor was a fake and never served in the military or never had any experience, and pretty much he just scam you from your money. You don't want to find yourself in that situation. So you want to be able to ask questions. Another thing, guys, make sure you train with how you are. If you're going to go and take a basic pistol class, use the holster that you typically use. Use the gun that you're going to use. You want to train with the gear that you are using. A lot of times I see guys bringing the Glock 17s with custom flashlights and a bunch of stuff, and they don't carry that gun. So you're training with a gun that you don't even carry. So that doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, guys, just a couple of steps. A couple of points to be in the lookout if you find yourself in some type of situation where you got to go and train, or if you're looking to do some training and you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I definitely appreciate you guys watching. I may answer those questions to the best of my abilities. Remember, guys, I'm not an expert, and if you go to any training academy where the instructor tells you that he's an expert, just walk away, because no one is an expert. There is not only one way. There's multiple ways to accomplish a mission. So it's never going to be that way is the best way. It's going to be more like that way is going to get accomplished a mission, but also this way and that way could do the same thing. So no one is an expert. So if you hear that, just walk away from that school. I definitely appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you prioritize your training. Make sure you put a little bit of money on the side so you could take some training, because like I said, guys, it is critical to your survival. If you like this type of videos, click like. Definitely subscribe to this channel, share the videos, and as always, God is in control.